Your job is not to save anybody. Our job is not to save anybody. Our job is to become the example of how we saved ourselves. Our greatest example, our job, our duty, our purpose within your many streams of your purpose is to tap in to that process of healing yourself. That is our job. With that, understanding to elevate, embracing into that day, embracing into that change, we understand that criticism is critical. Criticism is a trigger that is very, very needed. The vitality to challenge. The stimulation is the key to your tapping into that inner joy, that inner peace, that inner love, the inner aspect of yourself. The energy to better your life. The byproduct is going to be a lot of criticism. I remember facing the criticism when I was going into just coming into the healing process, going through criticism. But I noticed I had to realize that I didn't understand the underlying aspects of criticism. And when I understood it, when I truly started understanding what criticism was and what it was reflecting, it changed everything. It was a game changer. The criticism that you receive in the external fashion, the reflections of experiences and observations, is based on the return of all of that negative self-talk. The criticism that you receive is reflections. The criticism that you will receive is based on the reflections of the negative self-talk that you've given into yourself. Whether you've spoken it out loud into the mirror, I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or whatever it may be, or whether you took a breath in and looked at yourself and said it to yourself, the criticisms that you will face, that critical trigger, are based on the negative self-talk that you told to yourself. The things that you doubted within yourself. That's what's coming out into the surface as it's coming out of your pores, as you're going through your detox, as you're going into this healing process, as you're doing your shadow work, as you're sitting there sweating it out. For example, when I sweated out at the gym, I noticed that my sweat changed. The flavor, the taste of my sweat changed. My sweat went from being really, really, really salty to being sweet. My tears went from being really, really salty whenever it was time for me when I started embracing the cleansing, so they became really, really sweet. I wasn't salty anymore. I noticed that when I would get angry, upset, mad, and I had tears come to my eyes, or whenever I would be sweating at my job and tears were I'll be sitting there sweating, I always noticed it had a salty ass taste to it. The saltiness was the grudges I was holding. The saltiness was the insecurity that I was holding. The sweatiness was the insecurity that I was holding in. The sweatiness was the salt, the taste of defeat was everything that I was holding in and not allowing to come to the surface to cleanse myself. So when we stay within this critical algorithm of criticism, when we stay in this critical algorithm of criticism, we tend to, based on the negative self-talk that we've created into our environment, everything's a reflection of that within our environment. We kind of take criticism and we put it to the wayside because everything around us in that space, I noticed I couldn't take the criticism or the critiques of individuals that were around me, which is how I was supposed to do, but I was reacting to the process. So if somebody said something to me, their criticism, I felt defensive. I felt like I had to defend myself. I felt like I had to say something. I had to step up. I had to prove I was something to somebody. But then I really started looking at it. When it comes to you getting this criticism, when it comes to you getting critiqued, when it comes to you getting picked apart based on others' perceptions, what is it really triggering? What is it really triggering? Is it triggering that insecurity that you keep pushing away? Is it triggering that doubt that you keep not wanting to deal with? Is it triggering an aspect that you need to take something responsible for? Because if it is, it's time to go deeper. You can't come into the space of feedback, getting that feedback, learning how to adjust to your path until you understand that the criticism is going to be a natural aspect of your growth. The criticism is going to be a natural aspect of your growth, of your healing, of you coming into your work, of you coming into yourself, of you finding yourself. This is when we start understanding the elevation, as we start to elevate, as we start to heal, as we start to tap into ourselves, as we start to understand the value of ourselves. We start to see the difference between the lines in criticism, between criticism and feedback. Feedback is the positive reinforcement to make you better. That's positive self-talk. Same thing with the reflection. As you're going in that same, as you're coming into this middle point, learning how to transmute others' criticism, that means other people's doubts, other people's perceptions, other people's ideas that they're going to try to put on you. But you should do it this way, or you should do it this way. How about you do it first and then give me a nice example? How about you do it first and then give me so I can see an example? Show me an example. Then you understand the need for feedback. You need the criticism. You need the critics. You need the criticism because they're going to trigger what you need to expound upon or exfoliate from yourself or purge from yourself. Then you're going to start coming into that positive space as you start giving yourself positive self-talk, as you start giving yourself that positive wake up, as you start giving yourself that positive energy, you giving yourself that positive aspects, you speaking that positiveness to yourself. Even into the point of, I know I need to start going to the gym. I know I need to start sitting my ass at home more. I know I need to start doing my meditations. I know I need to start writing down my affirmations more. I know I need to create that vision board. That's positive. Because now you're challenging yourself to increase that vitality or that vibrance or that value within yourself. Now you're tapping into that. Now everything that's going to come around you, you're going to start noticing the critics and the criticism through your negative self-talk. It starts to dissipate. It starts to get real mumbled. It starts to get real muffled. And now you're coming into a space of all feedback. See, the difference between feedback and that criticism, feedback is always going to challenge you to do more. Feedback has no bias. Feedback has no bias. This is when you start looking at people when they start critiquing you for your healing process, when they start critiquing you for saying, you know what, I'm going to stay my ass at the house. Because when they're critiquing you, it's going to be based on that biased perception. They're going to say, but you used to do this all the time. Oh, you didn't change. I'm supposed to change. Oh, you didn't change. I'm supposed to change. I'm supposed to evolve. I was getting tired of not doing the work. I was getting tired of not doing the work, but expecting something to come from me not doing the work. I got tired of following the same cycle based on those reactions. I got tired of those emotional cues. I got tired of the frostbites. That means those emotional cues. That means the shit that kept me reacting and frozen in place. I got tired of the black ice that was all on my path. Those unresolved aspects that I'm not looking at and I'm swerving all over the place every time I hit it. I got tired of that permafrost. I got tired of my reflections of my shadow coming out through the permafrost So I was living in the aspects of that anger. I got tired of that glacier effect. I got tired of the blind spots. That's this week's episode on the God Hour podcast. We get in the blind spots. When one is not diligent within their works, their internal works, we develop what I like to call blind spots. Oversights, overlays, skips, dips, crevices. We develop this sense of these blind spots. As long as I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. As long as I don't deal with it, as long as I don't look at it, I don't have to deal with it. As long as I have a happy distraction in my way, I ain't got to deal with it. I can keep doing my same behavior. It's time to start changing that behavior. It's time to allow yourself to be broken down. You need that breakdown. The same way that trauma came through and it sparked something in your ass, it's time to tap back into what it sparked into. Get to that point. I want you to be the fucking best. I want you to grow. I want you to grow. I desire you to be the fucking best. The only way to become the best is to invest into the change. Invest into the change. Learn the triggers of your learn the triggers of the criticism and see where it's coming tapping down into. That way you can actually start promoting yourself through positive feedback. You got to give it to yourself first. That job that love that you are looking for, that respect that you're looking for, go look in the mirror. It starts with shadow work. That job that you're trying to tap into to give you all the abundance and that flow to your life, go sit your ass down on your couch. It's shadow work. That abundance, that house, that car, everything that you're wanting, the byproducts that are going to come from it, the works, the love, the respect of yourself, all starts in your shadow work. Everything else is a byproduct of what you do to yourself, how you embrace yourself, how you tune to yourself, how you become intimate with yourself. I want you to be the fucking best. I desire you to be the best. Stop allowing others' perception to stop you from tapping into the potential healing. Stop allowing others' perception to stop you from tapping into the potential growth. They just, once you start the process, they lose their grasp. Break free. From everything from natal chart analysis, human design chart analysis, readings, scheduling that shadow work consultation so we can get your inner child healing, getting done your shadow work, getting that in that process, getting you in the greatest version of yourself. Gotta call alchemistllc.com. Gotta call alchemistllc.com, or you can hit me in the inbox. Tune in Tuesdays, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. New episode streaming of the God Hour podcast. We're going to be getting into blind spots, the glacier effect. That's going to be a very good build for this week. And I'm going to see y'all throughout the week as we keep moving forward. Invest in the change. Ain't no one going to do more for you than you're doing for yourself. You want to put everything into everything else, then you deny yourself what it is that you need in order to succeed. No one's going to give you more love than you give yourself. No one's going to give you more respect than you give yourself. No one's going to give you more loyalty than you give yourself. They're only going to give you a reflection of the loyalty they're only going to give you the reflections of what you're giving to yourself. I want you to be the best. I love you. We love us. Ashe.